गुड मॉर्निंग फ्रेंड्स। आज हम सेल्सफोर्स में अपेक्स के टेक्निकल के कुछ क्वेश्चन देखते हैं जो कि इंटरव्यू में पूछे जाते हैं। तो स्टार्ट करते हैं क्वेश्चंस। व्हाट इज अ FSL feed service lightning? Next, how many types of the image template in the Salesforce? Text, HTML using the letterhand, custom using the without the letterhand, and Visualforce page. Next, what is the roll-up summary? Roll-up summary is used to display the count of the child records and calculate of the sum, minimum, and maximum of child's records. Next, what is the audit trail? Audit trail provide the information or track all of the recent set up the change that an admin done of the organization. It store the last 6 months data. Next, what is the OWD? It defined the basic level of the access to data records for all users in the organization. It is a help in restrict access into the data. They are private, public read, write, and transfer controlled by the parents and public read only. Next, what are the folder in the Salesforce? Folder are the used to store organization email template, document, reports, and dashboards. Next questions. What is the triggers in the Salesforce? Apex can be the invoked by the using the triggers. Apex triggers enables you to the perform the custom actions before and after changes to the Salesforce records, such as interaction, the update, deletions, triggers in Apex code that is execute before and after the following type of the operation insert. Next questions. What program language is the Salesforce writing is? Salesforce is a proprietary programming language provided by the host.com platform to developers similar to Java and C++. It is a strongly type of object-oriented case incentive programming language following and notations and clearly bracket syntax. What is the difference between the workflow and triggers in the Salesforce? Workflow is an automated process that is fired and actions based on the evaluations, criteria, and rules. Criteria we can the access to workflow access. The object triggers is a space of the code that is executed before and after records insert and or updated. We can use 20 DML operation in the on triggers. Next question: how many types of the triggers are there in a Salesforce? There are two types of the triggers in before triggers are used to the update or validate records value before they are saved to the database. Next question: what is the JavaScript remoting in the Salesforce? JavaScript remoting is a tool that is a front-end developer can use to make an Ajax request from the Visualforce page directly to an Apex controller. JavaScript remoting allow you to turn asynchronous action by the duplicating the page of the controllers and into the perform task and on the page without having to reload the entire page. Next question: what is the Apex param? Basically, the Apex param tag is used to pass value from the Visualforce page to the Apex controller. Next, what is the use to of wrapper class in the Salesforce? Wrapper or controller class in the class data structures or and abstract data type of the tools. Instant are the collections of the other object. It is a custom object defined by the Salesforce developers where he defined the properties of the wrapper class. Next, what is the transient keywords in the Salesforce? Transient keywords in the Apex class that is a serializable, namely in the controller extensions of the classes that is implement the batchables of the schedule interface, declaring the variable as the transactions and reduce the state size. Next questions: what is the triggers? Triggers is a piece of the code that is executed before and after records in the insert and updated and deleted from the host.com database. What are the different types of triggers in this SFDC? Before triggers, these triggers are the fire the before the data is saved into the database. After triggers, these uh, triggers are fired the after and data is saved into the database. Next, what are the triggers in concept? Context variable. Triggers is the insert returns to into the triggers was fire the do in insert operation. Triggers is the update returns to if the triggers was fired to update operations. Triggers is delete returns to if the triggers was fired to delete operations. Triggers is a before and returns to if the triggers was fired the before records is saved. Triggers is the after returns to if the triggers was fired after records is saved, and triggers new the returns is a list of the new versions of the object records. Triggers old returns is a list of the old versions of the object records, and triggers new the map returns map of new versions of the object records. Map is stored in the form of the maps of map. Triggers old map the returns map of old version of the object records. Map is stored in the form of the map. Triggers is size returns of the interior total the number of the records simulated do the do triggers in locations for the both old and new triggers is executing returns to if the current apex code it is a triggers. What is the difference between the triggers new and triggers new map? Triggers new is a returns as a list of the new versions of the object records, but triggers new map is a return a map of the new version of the object records. Next question, what is the difference between the triggers new and triggers old? Triggers new is a returns a list of the new versions of object records, and triggers old is a return a list of the versions of the object records. Next questions, can we call out the call out from the triggers? Yes, we can. It is a sum of usual class methods calling from the triggers. The only difference being the methods should be always be to the asynchronous with features. Next question, what is the screw the triggers? Recursions and accuracy the triggers. If you are the triggers has a some DML statement and the some DML condition is used to triggers firing condition on the same object on the which triggers has a been written. Next, what is a bulk firing the triggers? By default, every triggers is a bulk triggers which is used to the process the multiple records at a time as a batch for each batch of 200 records. Next, what is the use of features method in the triggers? Using features automation, we can convert the triggers into the asynchronous class, and we can use to call out the methods. Next questions, what is order of the executing of the triggers apex? Execute all of the before and validation rules, execute all of the triggers, execute assignment rules, execute at response rules, execute workflow rules. If there are workflow fields and update the records again. If the records was updated with the workflow fields update, fire the before and after triggers is more time. Customization rules are not run again. Execute equations rules. Next, if the records contain the roll-up summary fields or it is a part of the cross object workflow perform the calculation and the database the roll-up summary fits in the parents records goes where the save processor. If the parents record is updated and grandparents records contain roll-up summary fields is a part of cross the object workflow perform calculation and the update the roll-up summary fits in the parents records grandparents records go to the records save the process order execute the criteria based on the sharing evolution the commit all DML operation to the database execute a post commit and logic the execute sending emails. Next question, how do we avoid the execution triggers? Use a static variable in Apex class to avoid the infinite loop. Static variable are local to the extent of the web request. How many triggers we can define on object? We can write more than one triggers, but is not a recommendation, but practice is on triggers on the object. What is are the SQL limitation in Apex? Total number of the records retrieved by the SQL queries on 15,000. Next question, what are the transaction limitation in the Apex? Execution of the batch Apex job of the consider and the stake transaction. For example, batch Apex job that is a content 1,000 records and executed within the optional scope part parameters from the database. Execute batch is a consider by the transaction of 20 records each of the Apex governor limit are restrict for each transaction if are the first transactions of success, but the second phase that is database updated made in the transaction are not the loaded back. What is the what is the need of the batch Apex? By using the batch Apex class, we can process records in batches and synchronously. What is the database batchables interface? The class that is a implement this is interface can be execute as a batch Apex jobs. Next, can we call the call out from batch Apex? Yes, we can call. Can we call the another batch Apex from the batch Apex? Yes, you can call in a batch Apex from the another batch Apex either in start method or in the finish methods. You can call other the batch. Next, how many call out we can the call in the batch Apex? Batch executions are the limited to one of the call out the per executions. Batch is asynchronous operations. Asynchronous operations. Next question: what is the default size of the batch? The default batch size is 20,000 reports. What is the database batchables context? Batchable context interface is represent the parameter type of the batch Apex methods and contain the batch job ID. This interface is implemented internally by the Apex. Next question, how to track the details of the current running batch using the batchables context. You can check the Ascron Apex job status using the job ID from the database batchables context. Next questions. How many batch jobs can be the added to quiz? Quiz the count toward the limit of 5. Next question, what is the database stateful interface? To maintain the variable value inside of the batch Apex and database stateful is used. Next, what is the database allow callout? To use the callout batch Apex, you must specify the database allow the callout in the class definition. For example, global class search and replace implementation the database variables object and database all of the columns variable logic you want by the implementing the database interface methods call out the include the HTTP and request and as well as methods defined with of the web service keywords. Next, what is the Ascron Apex job object? Ascron Apex job is represent in the individual's Apex sharing calculations jobs used to the object to create Apex batch job in your organization. Next question, when the batch Apex worker record is created, for each 10,000 Apex job records, Apex is created on the additional Ascron Apex job record of type the batch Apex worker for the internal use. Next, what is the workflow? What is the automated process fire the actions based on the evaluation pattern and the two criteria path set up the create and workflow and approve the process. Next question, what is the triggers? It is a piece of the code that is executed before and after records interest and updated we can the use and 20 DML operation in the one triggers. Next question, what is the wrapper the class? It is a class of the host instant are callout collections of the other object. It is used to display different the object in a Visualforce page in the same tables. What is the static resource? Static resource is used to upload the image, zip files, jar files, JavaScript, CSS, and it is refer to the Visualforce page. Next question, what is the difference between the output text and the output fields? Output text always display fields value as a text responsive of the data types such as a currency, look up the each output, feeds and display automatically according to feeds data type. If the currency, look up the currency symbols. If it is a lookup type, then the display as a link in the page. Next question: what is the difference between the input the text and input the feeds? Always display feed the value as a text box irrespective of the data types display automatically according the fields data type. What is the difference between the data type tables and the page block tables? Data types is used to the display records without the standard Salesforce look of the fields, and the page blockables is used to display records with the standard Salesforce and look at the fields. Next, can we change of the class triggers in the productions environment? No, we cannot change class and triggers in the production. We can change the Visualforce page in the production, but page does not have a custom controller. Next question: what is the future the attentions? By using future annotations, we can the find methods are the running the asynchronously. Next question: how to write the custom errors in the triggers by using the add errors? Next question: what are the methods in method method in bash apex? Start, execute, and finish the methods. Next question: can we log records in the apex? Yes, we can look. Yes, we can look records in apex using for the update. Next question: what is the Visualforce compounds? Visualforce compound is a piece of the code that is can be reused and in encapsulated in over of page. Next question. Next questions. Sorry. Next questions. How to make feeds as a require in the Visualforce page? By making the feeds as a require and a Visualforce page, make marking marking as a required is equal to the true. Next question: can use change this? Can user change his own profile and roles? Users can change his roles, but he cannot change his profiles. Can we devise the Visualforce page in the Excel format? Yes, we can the counter the Visualforce into the Excel format is by using the contents type. Next question: what is the sales clouds? Sales clouds refer to the sales models in the Salesforce.com. It include leads, account, contact, contract, opportunity, product, price book, kit, and campaign. Next question: what is the server clouds? Server clouds refer to the service models in the Salesforce.com. It includes the account, contact, case, and solutions. What is the page layout and compact layouts? Page layout is used to for the application, and the compact layout is used to for mobile applications. Next question: how many we can share the records? Role hierarchy, OWT organization by default, manual sharing, category, basic sharing rules, and the apex sharings. Next question: what is the bulk? Is blank and is null? Is null is a support only numbers. Is null is a support. Is null is a support only numbers. Is null is a support of the text and numbers. Text and numbers. Next question: what is the triggers is new and triggers is old? Triggers new returns list of the version of the object triggers object records. This is the object is only available inside and updated and records only. Modify is the before triggers. Next question: what is the triggers in new map and triggers old map? Triggers is the new map is a map of the new ID versions, and triggers old map is a map of old ID versions. Next question: why do we write text class? To text write. Next questions: what is the triggers in new map and triggers old map? Triggers new map is a map of the new ID versions, and triggers old map is a map of old ID versions. Next question: why do we write text classes? To text writer class functionality is working or not by using text class. Salesforce does not allow deployment in productions if text coverage is less than 75। और थैंक यू फ्रेंड्स। अगर मेरा चैनल आपको पसंद आता है तो मेरे चैनल को लाइक और सब्सक्राइब करना ना भूलिएगा। तो मिलते हैं अगली वीडियो में। थैंक यू, बाय।